Hi, welcome in. It is Tuesday night, and we are so glad to be back live, Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears, talking all things Disney and Universal. We have a lot to chat about. Our schedules have been crazy, so we finally found time to get back to it, and we're super excited to be here. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome in. If you're one of our regulars and following us, we so appreciate it. So before we dive in too much, we certainly appreciate you hitting that thumbs up, that you know that you're watching, comment, let us know questions as you're chatting. If you're not part of our Facebook group, Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears, we have an awesome group. We have a business page, but a great place to research, to look up photos, to chat with other members. It's not just from us, but a great resource if you're dreaming about a trip, maybe planning your first trip, or you're an expert and want to share that as well. So I'm Catherine Ritchie, Jennifer and Christy. Jennifer's sharing everything out. We're going to share that on our other pages. I raced in from a baseball game, so I'm a little all over the place. But yeah, and look at we're not in the same color tonight.
Yeah,
we're getting there. So we have a great agenda of things to chat about, but as always, if you have things, drop that in. We have an awesome YouTube channel stocked with videos. The reason we're here, we're agents with Let's Adventure Travel and Mickey Travels, all free Disney planning for any Disney or Universal destination. So we're on here chatting because we love what we do. And we want to share that with all of you.
Yeah, I think we're all shared out now. So it has been too long.
Oh, look at your diamond. I just could see it. Like, so, yeah. Very nice.
Like in a bad angle. So we lift it up to have my diamond under my face.
And where did you find that, Christy? We have a store. You can shop them.
Yes, we have so many cute shirts. I might have bought a few lately. For our upcoming cruise, I will be boarding the Fantasy in less than 60 days since it's nighttime. It's 60 days from today. So I am super excited. We will be at Disney World for a couple of days before that. And then we are doing the 7-night Eastern Caribbean for my husband and I's 20th wedding anniversary. Struggling, like some days it seems like it's been 5 minutes. And then I was asking Jen, like, how did that happen?
I don't know. I was there. I don't. Have I known you for 20 years?
And then we will be back at Disney World. We are actually staying club level at the Wilderness Lodge. So that's not a first to stay at the Wilderness Lodge, but a first to be staying club level there over the 4th of July. So I'm super excited about that. And of course, we'll be sharing as much as I can, question mark on how much signal I have on board the Fantasy, but we'll share whenever I can. So we're super excited to be going on that trip. Big trip. Can't wait.
Yeah, and I've got some summer travel ahead of me. I'm taking a solo trip to Disney World, just a short one, but it's been too long since I've been in Disney World. We've had a few things going on. I was at Disney World in January. Went to Disneyland, was on the Disney Dream. We went to Disneyland Paris, which was amazing. But I miss my Disney World. And so 3 weeks from today, I'll be in Disney World on just a short solo trip. I'll be staying at the Boulder Ridge Villas in a studio villa, just because they've newly renovated everything. And so I'll have a new YouTube video for our channel, and it's located at Wilderness Lodge. And I love Wilderness Lodge, so it's a great place to stay.
So pretty there.
Yeah, it's really relaxing, because it kind of feels away from everything, even though it really isn't. It's just that quick boat ride to the Magic Kingdom, but it just has that secluded feel that it just makes it, I don't know, quiet, and it has a great walking or running path. I say running as if you've been part of our channel before, you've heard Jen and I talk about Run Disney events a lot. And I had said that I was kind of done with them. I told Jen no for Wine and Dine last year, even though I was there. And my husband and my youngest daughter are running the Dumbo Double Dare Challenge. at Disneyland in January, and I will of course be there. But I was like, no, I'm done with that. Like challenges and all. No, maybe if you guys are doing the 5K like I do it. So that's what my problem was. I said maybe the 5K, and then the virtual series was announced, and it's all these purple and platinum for the 100th anniversary. And so I was like, well, I'm trying to be an encouraging wife, right? And like help him with his, getting back to his training and everything like that. So, yep, signed up today. So 3 5Ks, but at least they're on my schedule, so one in June, one in July, one in August. And since I will be on this great vacation and then actually back on the fantasy in September, my oldest daughter is turning 30. So we board on her birthday. It's in Eastern Caribbean too, but it's a different itinerary. We are headed on the first one to the Virgin Islands, and on the second one, we're headed to, I totally forgot, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and St. Martin. Dang, that was hard.
How lovely.
So 2 totally different itineraries, even though the same ship. So I'm super excited to be able to bring you guys a whole bunch of footage from the fantasy in those 3. Actually, it will be exactly 3 months from the time I board one to when I board the next one. So.
And you'll get to go to Castaway, right? And run the Castaway 5K?
I don't think I will with Craig, because
are you going to do it on a bike?
You can do it on a bike.
For sure will not be doing it on a bike. And I've made that clear to everybody that if they want to bike while we are in Castaway Key, that's more than welcome, but I will not be joining them. The old guy that about jumped in the bushes when we did it would be glad if I never get on a bike again. It's just weird. That bike was just weird for me. I don't know why
I am convinced there's a video, like someone like set us up and there's a video of you and me, like, because it should not. Or they must have thought maybe we'd had too many mimosas, which we hadn't. We were fine, but those bikes just were not.
I actually think more mimosas might have been good.
Actually, it would have helped.
I feel like all of a sudden I started overthinking it too much, and then that chain going jump.
Yeah. So you won't be riding. You might be, yeah. So many.
Not be riding, but I do.
Running.
Yeah, so my husband and I are doing the Stingray adventure while we're on Castaway Key. Actually watched some other vlogs about it. It looks really cool. I think like you get to touch them and feed them.
Love stingrays. They're so
amazing.
So I think it's going to be amazing. Like our whole trip is just really like soaking up all these amazing places that we're going. Of course, I love Castaway Key. I could have stayed there forever, even in the rain. On our trip, of course, you guys were like, is it raining where you're at? And I was like, wait, it's not raining. And then all of a sudden it really was raining. But I slowly walked to the ship. I was happy where I was. But I bet I will with the girls, because my youngest daughter will want to do it so she can add another Disney medal to her collection. And I've always said I run for Disney Bling, obviously. So I do need to add it to my collection as well. In fact, I had my collection out this weekend and was thinking I should get a holder or something for all these.
Oh yeah, you absolutely need a holder for those. So
have them all folded like nicely and like put in this drawer, and I'm like, do something with these. Like I worked hard for these, dang it. So
I know it.
Yeah.
Well, my summer's got another. I mean, I love Disney World, heading to Disney World,
Right.
but then I'm heading to Disney World again in August with my family because we like late August at Disney World. But I'll also be headed to California in August, early August, for the Disneyland Resort in Southern California Adventures by Disney experience. And if you are not familiar with Adventures by Disney, look it up. It is, a small group, very high quality professional tour with an adventure guide, with local guides, and they take care of everything for you. You get certain special access to different places. And so, we'll be going to the Jim Henson Company on a VIP visit. We'll of course be to Disney World or Disneyland, Disney California Adventure Parks on some VIP visits. We'll get to go to the Walt Disney Studio Archives, Walt Disney Imagineering Tour, like all of these incredible experiences. So I cannot wait to share that with you all as well. It'll be just an amazing experience. And Adventures by Disney is not something that a lot of folks know about. They don't advertise. And so the only way to really get to know more about an Adventures by Disney experience is to contact one of us, so your Mickey Travels agent, and we can help you learn more about all of the different opportunities they have worldwide. So I'm specifically going on a California adventure, and they have several adventures in the US, but also I've got folks booked on a Danube River cruise. They've got Seine River cruises. They do trips to all different parts of Europe and Asia, Africa, Australia, you name it. So if you are looking to travel the world with all of the quality and VIP experience that you can get through Disney, that's an Adventures by Disney experience for you.
I mean, it sounds so great. I mean, you pretty much, you pack your bag and you go, and you don't have to worry about anything. You enjoy all the experiences, and that sounds like my kind of vacation.
I know
Yeah.
it. I can't wait.
Well,
they
one
transport
thing-
your bags for you. They take care of everything behind the scenes. We're staying in a couple of different hotels. So we'll be starting at the Lowe's Hollywood Hotel and then moving to the Grand Californian, which I love. But all you have to do is pack your bags, give it to them. They take care of everything for you, make sure that everything is in your room. If you have food allergies, you let them know ahead of time. Everything is taken care of for you. They've got snacks available, you name it. So you are catered to from the time you show up until the time you leave. In fact, they are picking me up in a private vehicle from the airport as part of my experience. So I, booked my own flights there. I'll land in LAX, but then I'll have private transfers directly from the airport to my hotel and get to meet up with the rest of the crew there.
So
Well, and
nice.
we'll have to do one when you get back
really will.
about it. So I think just the little brief synopsis we would say too is, I think when people hear that and they hear, oh, by Disney, it is, that's something more theme parky, it's that,
Right.
That's my new word for tonight, apparently. But just if you are familiar with Disney, the level of service is exceptional. If you don't know that, that is just what Disney is known for. So these are wonderful trips. So Jennifer's going to California. They're around the world as well, but there are domestic trips you can take.
Right.
Too. So
Yeah.
if you love to travel, really not have to worry about anything, children and adults, so many itineraries. It's just fun to check that out, but we can help you even answer questions about it or start exploring that. But we can't wait to hear about your
Yeah.
trip.
And they have, family trips. They also have adult exclusive. So the one that I'm on is adult exclusive. So that I think is really exciting too. So yeah, can't wait to share, but there's just so much happening over the summer. And, I should mention that my May trip, I booked very last minute. I just realized I really miss Disney World. I can't wait until August. I can't go that long without a trip to Disney World. And so I just hopped on, lots of availability, incredible discounts over the summer for Disney World, especially right now. And so if you're looking for a Disney World trip this summer, hop on it. And there's quite a bit of availability for Disneyland too. That seems to be booking up a little bit more than Disney World, but Disney World's got a ton of discounts. I'm so excited about some of the pricing that I've been seeing for folks.
Yeah, a
resort
lot
pricing
of
at moderate levels.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is the rates that we've been giving people for deluxe that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah,
always, and
super
again, I think some people might think, oh, summer is just not the time to go. Again, it depends on your schedules. We work with a lot of clients where summer is the only time they can go or
Right.
works best for them. So there's still a lot of options. There's a lot of festivals going on. There's a lot of opportunities you get to take advantage of in the summer as well. You don't have to worry about those pools being cooler or your kids not wanting to go in because maybe it's a cool day out. The pools are heated, which is great. But there's a lot happening then. And we can, again, all of our offerings are free. So we can help price some things out for you. Or if you don't even know where to start, we can help you with that. Or if you know exactly what you're thinking and you know what week you want to go and all of that, that's great too. But that is the nice thing. There's just
Well,
so
and
much.
with all the specials, so there are after hours parties, but then deluxe resort guests get extended hours at Epcot on Monday nights and Magic Kingdom on Wednesday nights. So that's all year, not just over the summer. But if you're looking for early morning and late night activities, your deluxe resorts are amazing. When we
So
go
I
in late
just had-
August, we'll be going to H2O Glow Nights, which is, I mean, the water parks are open all the time and they're fun all the time, but I can't handle water parks in the dark when it's cold because I don't like to be cold. I mean, if it's not 90, I don't want to be in the water. And so H2O Glow Nights is available on Saturday nights, really all summer. And so that's a really fun event at Typhoon Lagoon Water Park. And then Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party starts in August. So if you are looking to go on a trip, August 11th is when the parties are starting. I'll be going the 15th because I'll still be on the ABD coming back home on the 11th, but I'll be going on the 15th. We get there on the 14th. So we're hitting the second.
Wait, so you will be at Disneyland when and Disney World when in the same month?
Oh yeah, Disneyland. I get there I get to California on August 3rd, visiting a friend in Sacramento, heading down to the ABD on the 6th. I'll be there till the evening of the 11th, which is a Friday. Fly home. My kids have one of the biggest weekends of their entire year. They perform at the Irish Fair. They're Irish dancers. So Saturday and Sunday, really even their Friday, packed all day dancing. Monday morning, we're on a plane to Disney World. So
Love it.
You know,
Love it.
life is short. Life is short. Those kiddos are growing up so fast. It is impossible to find time that works for them. This week worked. This is when we're going. And it's a great week. I mean, it's the later in August you can go, the slower it is.
Yes.
I don't care how hot it is if it's slow, you know. So pack a poncho, take a nap in the middle of the day. You know, it's a great
Well, and of
time.
course, Jen, my husband and I and Jen's family were there at the very end of August last year. It was definitely hot, but it was amazing. Like it was, I hate to say like one of the best trips that we've had, but for sure, like the two of us, we had so much fun. You guys said one of you said something about the festivals. Like right now at Epcot is Flower and Garden, and it runs until July 5th, right?
Yeah. So after the 4th of July.
So I'm super excited to get in on that. Yeah. Like it was a lot to mess Festival of the Arts this year, and then just a couple weeks later, Food and Wine Festival starts, and it runs into November. And like I was gonna say it's my favorite, but really like I love each one of them for totally different reasons. So that's going on in August. Also Mickey's Not So Scary, whose tickets go on sale Thursday for guests staying on property. So that's really exciting. And then for everybody else, next Tuesday,
the 2nd, I want to say May 2nd. Does that sound right?
I think that's Tuesday.
I'm only working with people who are working who are working.
Yeah, same. So, but I did write it on my calendar, and I saw it as I was in my May calendar. So if you haven't talked to one of us and you've already got your trip booked, like let us know that you want those tickets so that we can get them for you. I know each one of us have a list of whenever they go on sale. Great thing about
yeah, and that's a good reminder, you know, maybe if you've been on the fence or you're thinking about it, and we have some other YouTubers who chatted a lot about the party. These parties are a great opportunity to get kind of more VIP access, not as many people. I mean, if you've seen any post, and Jennifer will keep posting a lot of them about the candy that weighed more than her children when she would go. So, but the opportunity to have your select choice of dates is again a wonderful benefit of staying on property. I mean, we could talk a whole hour about why staying on Disney and Universal property makes so much sense, in Disneyland and everything. But this is a big one. Halloween party we keep joking. I mean, August 11th is kind of pushing it because we keep joking it's going to be like July at some point.
It's such a good party, though.
Yeah,
it's such a good party.
It gives more.
I think it's not to be missed.
Yeah, and if you are like me, fall's my favorite season. The fact that it's all decorated from that point on, you don't have to go in something
really right. Yeah,
which is really fun.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the best party that Disney World does.
I know you do love it.
I do love it.
I do agree. Christmas comes in a very close second, but for totally different reasons. Like I love that party too. The fact that it snows on Main Street is obviously like just magical. But they're very, very different. Like I love the party atmosphere, like regardless of what age you are. Like, you know, we've taken our youngest since he was much smaller than what his 16-year-old self is nowadays. You know, but it's just so much fun to see not only kids but adults dressed up. Like it is, I encourage people that decide to go to like jump in with both feet. You will not be the only adult there, for sure, in a costume. Because the first time I went with my youngest daughter when we were visiting schools down there, and we just wore like Halloween t-shirts the first time, and we ended up buying like Halloween ears, but like I could have kicked myself. Like, of course we've made up for it, but like why didn't we dress up? Like, I don't know, but we didn't. Like, we just had Halloween, still had tons of fun and all of that kind of stuff, and bought new ears. But like I just encourage people, like if you're gonna go, like enjoy like it and have a plan. And we can
I think the
help
same
you.
for the Christmas party though. I mean, be obnoxious. When else can you do that? I mean, I guess I don't feel like I cannot do that, you know, going to grocery shopping and whatever, but I'm going to be in my Christmas stripes and a Santa hat and lights that are glowing, like at a Christmas party in November. In fact, I'm hedging my bets that November 7th is going to be the first date, and it's already be there.
Yeah.
So that
And,
will
you
be
know, we're
less
going to
than a
leave on the
week
7th, and
from
now I've
when-
extended my stay.
So, because last year were we at the second one?
We were at the second one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And this year the Halloween parties are running through November 1st. So that turnaround is going to be neat. And if you are somebody that likes multiple seasons, the Magic Kingdom especially does very quickly go from that fabulous fall to all of a sudden the holidays have arrived. Not everything is out, you know, like the first day, but it is definitely the holidays have arrived the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the final thing, because we have so much to chat about, that we'll say about these tickets too, they are non-refundable. So it's not
Good
like
point.
we talk a lot about, we're going to talk about that, booking packages, and there's refundable bill options up to a certain point, but these tickets, you're making that commitment. And there's a reason for that. They really want to, you know, again, people know they're going that date. That's when they want to do it, but just know that that's a piece of it. It's not, oh, I'll snag them and then maybe I'll decide with my family. You really want to know for sure that you want to go.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fun times. So those tickets are going on sale soon.
I know.
Ready to
crazy.
go. Oh boy. Well, and I do
That
want to
is one of
mention
the great
so-
things about
yeah.
us is that you get the sleep, we lose the sleep.
That's true.
Isn't that the truth? I was about to say we make it up other places. No, we don't. We just, you
Yeah.
know, it eventually goes away.
Right.
You know, I do want to say, if you're thinking about a trip that's going to straddle both parties, people do it every year, but with the party on November 1st now. And again, I'm pretty solid that there's going to be a party on the 7th. They've done this before, which is a Tuesday. It's almost always that Tuesday. It's very possible, but it's also the wine and dine race weekend. And so that availability is filling up pretty quickly. Not that the parks are necessarily busy during that time, because when people go for a race weekend, it doesn't mean that the parks are busy, because if you're getting up at 2:30 in the morning to run a half marathon, you're probably not spending all day in the parks. There are super special people who do. If you are, I bow down. That's not me. But the resorts fill up. So if it's a race weekend, you can bet that availability is limited already. So if you're thinking about it, now is the time to make that decision.
Agreed.
Well,
And if you're thinking about summer at all,
right.
now is the time, you know, like reach out, like let's chat, you know, about options and stuff like that, because it's already the end of April. How that happened, I have no idea.
I know. Well, and summer comes up so fast. I think that you want to do something, and then, you know, it's still very possible to throw things together last minute. I mean, usually for most of the year, it's possible to throw things together last minute. I would say, though, this is more Disney World, Disneyland. If you're looking at Aulani, it's pretty much sold out. If you're looking for a Disney cruise and you want to cruise over the summer, you're looking at 2024 as far as, getting the best possible pricing. Not that there's nothing available. There are still some things available. I've just, booked cruises for folks in August just this week. So there is definitely availability. It's much more limited. Your options for staterooms are much more limited. If you've got a whole group of people who are wanting to be together, not as much. And the pricing is just higher now than, it would have been, except for if you're looking for, just a select few that are in Europe and the transatlantic. If you're looking for the transatlantic, let me know, because there's some great deals. But, yeah, otherwise,
Alani, there are some great deals out there
late
for
summer
into the beginning of fall.
Yeah. So summer during the school breaks, they never have discounts in that window of time. So you're, early June to basically early September or late August, because right now their discounts start August 23rd. So there's nothing between early June and August 23rd, and they're pretty much entirely sold out for those dates. But when kids go back to school, the discounts are fantastic. So, I've got a family going and they've been looking at it for a long time. They really wanted to wait until discounts were out to book, even though we can apply them retroactively, but just to make sure they pick the right dates. And they're getting 25% off, which is more than, the cost of a night, because you have to stay for a minimum of 5 nights to get that 25% off. But you're thinking about it, and they're getting more than a whole night free. With that 25% off on their stay, and they're staying a little bit longer than that. So even more, but 20% off a 4-night stay, 25% off a 5-night stay. That's a lot of money at a gorgeous resort that, I always think if you're going to go to Aulani, you need to spend some time on Oahu, but you don't have to have an amazing trip. There's so much to do at the resort. It's hard to balance doing everything that you want to do and learning about the resort and taking the nature tours and listening to all the fire pit stories and doing the stargazing and the t-shirt stamping and making the ears and just hanging out at the pool and having some happy cocktails and the spa, but then also thinking about exploring the island. So, I think the longer the trip, the better. I've got folks who are going for 4 nights because that's all they can get in, and folks that are going for 9 nights because, they can take a little bit of a longer trip and then everything in between. So, but it's my favorite Disney resort. So I will always say.
We have a few videos about it too. So if you don't know what it's about, or you just want to dream a bit or kind of think ahead, again, Aulani, we're lucky, creating a lot of wonderful content so you can escape with that too.
Yeah, Jen did a great walking around video that I think I've watched parts of. I watched the whole thing, but I've watched parts of just because I'm just like, oh.
I know.
I watch it sometimes too. It's so cold here right now. I had it on the other day because we're still in the 50s, sometimes in the 40s. It's been a brutal spring for us. So yeah. Aulani, take me away.
Great. This is why Jen travels so much, is because she lives in the Arctic tundra.
She does. That's a good, that's you would still travel this much.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But if you do book through May 2nd, your stay will also include a $150 resort credit to use at select locations. So again, there's kind of a couple of different promotions going on, which is great. And that's another one that the resort isn't as big, so it does book faster. And of course, that's a very desirable location. So again, if you have some flexibility or you just want to start exploring that, we'd love to help you kind of figure out what would be the best fit for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gosh. So we've been talking all about Halloween at Disney World. And those tickets just going on sale at Universal. Halloween Horror Nights tickets are on sale now. And so that is available, and it runs Wednesdays through Sundays. So Mondays and Tuesdays, they take off except for Halloween. They'll have a party on Halloween. But that party runs from 6:30 until 2 a.m. every day. So Universal Studios Park closes at 5 or 5:30. I think 5 every day other than, Mondays and Tuesdays in September and October. But that's an incredibly popular party. And they have shows and activities and rides and haunted houses. I think the major caveat to that is, I was talking to a family that had an 8-year-old. That's really borderline. I mean, I think teenagers, young teens might not even be quite ready. It totally depends on the person. But when they say Halloween Horror Nights,
right. I mean, think more. This is not Disney. Like,
right.
you
It
know,
is
like, 'cause
I feel like
there's
they're
some,
opposite, right? Like Mickey's is not so scary, right?
right.
And then Universal is totally the opposite. Like it
bring
is
an extra
scary.
pair of underwear because you're
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you
Their whole
love
goal.
horror and scary, there's clearly a lot of people. We are not
Yeah,
three of those
right.
people, but we
Yeah.
will help you and we will
Yeah.
encourage you to go. But it is truly, you know, when you think of the movies that are represented at Universal, or you just think of that content. I mean, there is an audience. There are local people who love it. I mean, there are people who come, kind of like the festivals we go to that we love at other parks, or even Mardi Gras at Universal, will
Right.
come
Yeah.
for these nights. It's very popular. It really is. So again, if you're thinking about that or wanting to work that into a trip, adults escape, or you have teens that you know would be perfectly fine enjoying it. I mean, we hear great reviews. I just would have to be blindfolded and like literally probably have a few.
So
I
they
don't
could
like
be
to feel like
blindfolded,
someone
and I
could
feel like
touch
that would
me in a
be even
haunted
more.
house.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
In my
just-
younger days, though, you know, I loved that stuff. I loved haunted
Yes?
trails. I loved haunted
No.
houses. I
never.
outgrew that at some point in time. I think it's when I had kids. I'm scared of everything.
I
My,
never did.
my oldest is driving with her dad right now, practicing driving. So like there's enough to be scared of.
Right. So again,
It's scary enough.
Universal, I've been booking a lot more people who are adding on some Universal stays to their Disney, or
Mhm.
Disney and Universal. So again, these two, Universal is not Hollywood Studios. I had someone, you know, we throw
Great
that out
point.
every so often. Again, why you use a vacation planner can help guide you. But if you're thinking even you want to do a couple days, or some people like this is their big trip, or they know
Right.
they're not going to make it. We've all been there with younger kids. Our kids are getting older, schedules are crazy. So if you do want to try to do a combination, or again, we can talk about that. Like, are your kids at that age where they love, excuse me, Harry Potter? And this
Right.
would be, again, you can enjoy that. We love
And
it.
thrill rides. I mean, my
Yeah,
youngest was on thrill
and
rides when
thrill-
she was 4, you
Yeah.
know? So
You all
yeah.
have, like, you might have brave kiddos, you might have those rides, or maybe you need to wait, or again, do a combination there too. But
Right.
Universal offers a lot too, and they have some
Mhm.
great festivals. And again, we have a lot of content on our channel about that and what they offer. I think Universal is a lot more walkable too.
Oh, easily.
And they just are, they're smaller footprints. There's a lot there, but you just, you know, I feel like you're almost coming out of one attraction and like jumping into the next. That's
Well, it's a
why.
lot more. I mean, it's bigger than Disneyland, but it's a lot more like Disneyland. You've got all the hotels really close. I feel like it's a little bit more like Disneyland Paris, except for Disneyland Paris doesn't have a water park. Disneyland doesn't have a water park either. But Universal does such a good job with their ticket discounts and their length of stay discounts. So the longer you stay, usually the higher the percentages off.
Mhm.
So you might have a 1-night stay and you're paying rack rate. Then you'll have a 2-night stay and you might get 15% off. And then you have a 5-night stay and you might get 35% off, or something along those lines. And so their discounts can be great. But then right now they've got, you know, again, if you want a longer stay, the 3-park 3-day ticket has an extra 2 days free. So it's a 5-day ticket where you can go between Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and the best water park I've ever been to, Volcano Bay. And I love Typhoon Lagoon, and I'm still going to H2O Glow Nights, but I mean, Volcano Bay is,
Right.
it's a great water park, you know, and it's hot. The nice thing about Florida is it's hot enough to go to the water park a good part of the year.
Mhm.
So
Right.
if you're going for, you know, October, Halloween Horror Nights, take that longer trip. Make sure you get some water park time in there, and then, you know, go back and forth between the parks. But that way you don't feel like you have to rush.
Mhm.
And again, I mean, we talk a lot about the different benefits of the different levels of resorts, and Universal with their deluxe. I mean, kind of those great options that are so close, offer you so many amenities. Even if you think, oh, that's just, you know, that just wouldn't appeal to us, or club level is out of our price range kind of thing. It really is more accessible at Universal, and it can be really worth it to have that express pass and to have those opportunities.
Right.
You can just get to so much more. And again, we walked from the parks to dinner at a different resort because you could just do that. You could jump on a boat, you could do different things, but buses are there. There's just a lot I think it sometimes gets discounted and we were talking about this actually before we jumped on, Universal just doesn't promote itself as much as Disney. I think it just doesn't have to. People know it and they love it. And if you're a movie person and you can just, you want to see all those things. But there's a lot there to really enjoy.
And, I was just talking to someone about this earlier about, what are some of the differences? And I would say a big difference with the rides, more thrill rides, more motion simulator rides. And so if I get motion sick, I have to take my motion sickness meds before I go to Universal, because I will be going on all the rides. Like, I don't just say no. I mean, I might say no to the teacups at Disney World because whatever, it's the teacups, but I'm not going to go to Universal and say, oh no, I'm not going on Forbidden Journey. No, I'm going on Forbidden Journey, even though it's going to flip me around. And
you are a hardy soul. I feel like we should have, what is the motion sickness one you take?
I take meclizine, which is generic Bonine. Bonine,
which I feel like should be a sponsor.
I should be a sponsor because that stuff is
it is your go-to
on every trip.
And it's
I buy in bulk.
Yeah, and I will say, just as a total aside, so we will say sometimes pack all that medicine, things like that. But you know how you sometimes think, oh, I'll just wait and try it. So I hadn't taken Dramamine probably in a solid 20 years. But I was like, I'm going to take it on the cruise just to be careful. And I mean, it knocked me out. And again, doesn't do that to everybody. Luckily, I had a roommate with the good meds. But I mean,
I can't take Dramamine.
Well, clearly I can't either. But I just wish I discovered it sooner. I'll just say, maybe try those medications out. I mean, in the other
good point.
That kind of, again, would I have gotten motion sickness with that? I don't know. Didn't have to worry about it. And I think, especially again, my age, I think, oh, I used to be able to do it. I'll be fine. I've sometimes done those motion rides and then it knocks you out for the day.
Yeah.
How miserable, where you could just take something and make sure you're safe. You can enjoy your kids. Your day.
Like, take the motion sickness meds, pack the poncho, make sure you got an extra pair of shoes in your hotel in case you're
shoes you've worn before.
Right.
Shoes you've worn
before. All things that we've learned through experience. Like, my husband will never again say, I can take one pair of shoes to Disney World. Why? Because we got stuck in the rain and Craig only had one pair of shoes. And guess what? He had to wear those shoes that were still damp the next day. So
live and learn. Learn from us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've purchased flip-flops at Disney Springs. I mean, kids' sandals have gotten destroyed, things happen. You step funny, whatever, just bring an extra or be prepared. Unfortunately, I have big feet. And so it's hard to find anything above a stupid size 10 for a woman. But I mean, Disney Springs does have stuff, but you're paying
a premium
for your Havianas versus, your $5 Old Navy flip-flops.
I was gonna say, yeah.
No, but
I feel like we could also talk for an hour, and hopefully we will at another time, about Disneyland Paris and your trip and how amazing it was. You are, again, if you follow our Facebook page, just to live vicariously through the McCormick families. And again, they know it really well, but Disneyland Paris is an option to visit with our help as well. So, so much going on.
It's easier to visit than you think too. I think a lot of people think I don't ever want to leave the country. I don't know what to expect. They speak a different language. They do. And it takes, a little bit of just being patient and understanding and navigating. But if you're used to navigating cities in the US, you're fine. Navigating a city. Google Maps works perfectly. Uber exists. The drivers don't necessarily always speak English, but you don't have to if you Uber. But there are other transportation, the train, Google Maps works perfectly on the train. But once you get to Disneyland Paris, just about everyone speaks English. And, even if you speak some French, in most cases, you're going to approach people with a bonjour or whatever, asking a question. They're going to speak to you in English because they just know it's easiest for you. Sometimes they'll ask, do you want to speak English or French or whatever? I say that because my kids are in a French immersion school. And so they speak pretty well, but my comprehension is.
Yeah. So one question I think we get too is, okay, so right, maybe they might speak to us in English, but what about signage? Like,
yeah,
French? That's like a question.
Yeah. So just about everything is in French, English, sometimes, other languages. I've seen Spanish and German, but when it comes to the rides, you think about rides. If you're familiar with Disney World, say, for example, Star Tours. You go into Star Tours as a whole pre-show. That pre-show is either going to be English with French subtitles or French with English subtitles, and they alternate. Same thing with the show. And the interesting thing about the shows at Disneyland Paris is a lot of times the dialogue is in both English and French, but then they say something over again in the other language, and it's completely natural that they're using both languages back and forth, or one character speaks English and the other character speaks French, and you completely understand everything that's happening because of how well written that dialogue is. So it's just fascinating how well they do it. And then there are a couple where they will alternate French, like they'll have a French show and then they'll have an English show, and then they'll have a French show, and then that's all, part of the signage as well, except for if you're looking for English, you're looking for the UK flag, not the US flag, the UK. Just know what the UK flag looks like, know what the France flag looks like, and you're all set. But yeah, the parks are gorgeous. It is, I feel like a little bit more like Disneyland because everything is walkable. There are 2 parks, but it's nothing like Disneyland because they have plenty of space. Everything is, they just had the space when they built it 30 years ago. Disney World had been around for 20 years at that point, and Disneyland had been around for over 30 years at that point. And so they knew, we need to make the walkways bigger. We need to be able to move people in different ways. And so I feel like they were able to take all of those lessons that they learned from the other parks and how popular they were and really build them into Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney Studios, because they just they take the crowds a whole lot better than some of the other parks do. So that's a lot of fun. And it's great. And they've got the best Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and they have the best Hyperspace Mountain, and the Tower of Terror is scary. Like it's just different. And Phantom Manor is what the Haunted Mansion is, but it's a totally different backstory. And again, a little bit, I don't know if the French like to be scared. I know that Halloween is a really big holiday in the country, but the things are just a little bit spookier, which I love. But best Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, it's such a good ride there. Hyperspace Mountain goes upside down.
I feel like that's a great point, because people think even between Disneyland and Disney World that why should I do, Disneyland? I've been to Disney World before. And I tell people, like, even the rides that are named the same aren't the same. For example, Space Mountain at Disney World is, one person per seat.
Yeah, like one at a time. Yeah.
One in a row. I don't know. Where at Disneyland, it's 2. And so they have a similar feel, but they are not the same ride. They do not feel like the same ride. That It's a Small World is another one, obviously extremely similar, but they are not the same, and they do not feel like the same. So anytime somebody asks me, is it worth riding those rides? I'm like, oh my gosh, absolutely. Like, I have never got soaking wet on Pirates of the Caribbean at Disney World. Disneyland, I came off looking like a drowned rat the last time. So
true.
That's true.
Yeah, and Pirates is completely different at Disneyland Paris then as well. It's in a little bit of a different order. I should say that the rides that are exactly the same, Ratatouille, but Ratatouille was in Disneyland Paris before it came over to Epcot. And so that's the same attraction, except for it ends at the restaurant. So your end scene when you get off is you're actually looking into the Bistrot Cher Ami restaurant, which is super cool because it's just like the whole shtick of Ratatouille, where you shrink down to the size of Remy and Emile, and you're, a rat in that space. And then the other one that's the same is Disneyland Paris in Walt Disney Studios has an Adventures campus. And so they have web slingers, which is Spider-Man Web Adventure there, but it's the same thing as web slingers in Disneyland, which I loved because I love web slingers. It's another competition game. So at those Toy Story.
And of course now that Tron is open at Disney World, we've been talking about it. literally forever.
Yeah.
And now it is officially open at Disney World, and Jen will be the first of us to get to ride it. I have heard great things about it. I've heard that it feels short, but that the experience is amazing. My youngest daughter rode it during cast previews first. And she was like, it was just awesome. So I'm greatly looking forward to that.
I love that
I've
Magic
also
Kingdom
heard-
has another ride too. Like I feel like Magic Kingdom just needed something else.
Needed something else. Yeah.
Well, and I
And
also think we
Tomorrowland
waited.
needed something else.
Yeah, and we
like,
waited so long. I think that makes the hype even more so. So I mean, it's great. We're hearing great things about it. So you would hope it's going to be amazing. It looks, just looking at it, looks amazing.
yeah.
That it really
I have
is.
to say that I'm trying to, like, with my park reservations, hedge my bets on, I mean, I know I want to get on Guardians as many times as I can because Cosmic Rewind is my favorite ride right now at Disney World.
Well, I will say I just had good friends and guests at Disney World last week, right? So they were all worried they'd seen all these crowds for spring break, and I kept saying it'll be better. It will not be that Easter, spring break that collided together. And they did stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and just absolutely loved it because who doesn't? And so they did the deluxe evening hours of both Epcot and Magic Kingdom and got to ride Guardians multiple times and had not ridden it before and were absolutely enamored. And it is now their whole family's, favorite ride.
It's a good ride.
I mean, unless you're me.
Yeah.
I
I'm
do think
excited
the
for
ride is
Tron, though.
amazing. Like I feel like everything is so smooth, right? Like there's nothing clunky about it or anything else like that. It is just a lot of motion. And the next time I ride it, I for sure will take my motion meds first and not have as many alcoholic beverages beforehand.
Right. You did.
There's a ride in Walt Disney Studios that after I rode it again, it's old. It's been there for a long time. It's called Crush's Coaster. I mean, and it's a little bit different because you're in the Crush's shell. And so you've got some people facing forward, some people facing back. But when I was on the ride this time, I was like, I almost feel like it was Guardians 1.0 because you rotate a little bit, but you're not spinning. And there's something to look at. And then it's got a bit of a launch, except for you don't launch backwards like on Guardians, you launch forwards. But I was like, I wonder if this was, sort of the thought behind it. Because you're going, a little bit forward in some places, a little bit backward, you rotate a little bit, but you're not spinning. But that's a fun coaster too. And that's one you can only get at Disneyland Paris. So Crush's Coaster always has a long wait.
So there are some discounts. There's the 30th anniversary celebration is continuing, kind of back to wrap up Disneyland Paris. So again, if you're thinking about that, or that needs to be a further out kind of planning trip, we can help you think about that as well. But
absolutely
add that to the bucket list. That's why we all play the lottery, right?
Oh my gosh. And dining is really easy to book there if you're booking more than 60 days out, because you get at Disneyland Paris, they have dining plans, first of all. Dining plans, which save you money. But then if you're staying at a Disney resort, you book your dining whenever you book. And then, off property guests or whoever, they can, take their chances 60 days in advance. But we were able to make our dining reservations in like December for April. And it was, had no problem getting everything that we wanted to get. And then the closer it got to it, of course, everything booked up, because then, when the general public can book, then they book. But then all character dining you can package. So that you've got that part of your package, at the time of booking. So you don't ever have to worry about having, your breakfast with the princesses or, your character dining, because you can put that right into your package. You have it the minute that you put your deposit down. So it's pretty cool. I know. Wish we could do that with Disneyland. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So we'll Christy alluded to, she's taking a big cruise in less than, 2 months and counting, which is so exciting. That post today was so fun to see your itinerary and the countdown and everything like that. So there'll be lots more cruise. We already have a lot of cruise information out there, but we just wanted to talk a little bit about Disney Cruise Line is very different from the other destinations that we booked.
Right, right. And different from other cruise lines too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
different.
think that if folks are new to Disney Cruise Line, if you got used to it right after, they reopened after the pandemic, there were some very rare things that happened. Discounts almost never happen with Disney Cruise Line. That the fourth and fifth, or the third and fourth guest free deal, that was amazing. And I would hedge bets I probably will never see anything like that in my life. Normally, if Disney Cruise Line does have a discount, it's very last minute. You pay in full at the time of booking and you are locked in. No changes. That's your, they what do they call them? They're guaranteed restricted rates. And so that's typically what you're finding if there are discounts. And so with Disney Cruise Line, you want to book as far out as possible. If you book a normal rate, you do have some flexibility unless it's concierge, with making changes, getting, a full refund, all of that good stuff. But then you've also got time to pay toward it because, they are more expensive in some cases than other cruise lines. But when I do the math, like everything's included except for alcohol. Your dining experiences and your rotational dining just blows out of the water what you would, see as main dining, on other cruise lines. Your dining staff follow you to the different dining rooms. So you have the same people at every meal who know your preferences, your allergies, whether or not you feel like you're going to want to leave early, skip dessert, whatever. They just know.
Order all of them.
I've had some who just wrap it up for me ahead of time. I'm like, what can we wrap up for you? Because we know you're not going to be able to eat it here. But it's nice. If they know that you're going to want to be able to get out of there quickly or that you want to take your time, that you leave them that all from you the first night. And it's just a different world. But then with Disney Cruise Line now, starting next summer, there's a new private island called Lighthouse Point. And I'm so excited to see what that will look like. There are a few cruises that have both Castaway and Lighthouse Point on the itinerary. Those are incredibly popular. Been looking at
somebody almost booked one of those today. Somebody might have been me. I was messaging Jen earlier because I'm trying to think all of my trips through like everybody else, right? I have a budget for each one of them. But that's exactly what I want to do. I want to go, it would be on the Magic out of Fort Lauderdale right before my 50th birthday. Happy birthday to me.
YOLO. Right.
It would be Castaway Key and it would be Nassau in the Bahamas and then Lighthouse Point. I think that's the order they go.
Yeah.
So I think that sounds perfect, but my husband has not been on a cruise yet. So he's going to fall in love with it. So I know that we'll come off that ship with it.
You'll have that booked when you're on board.
Right. But I almost booked it today, but I refrained.
I know. I keep waiting for the Treasure. I hope that the dates will fit with. Yeah. So, the Treasure is it's a new Disney Cruise Line ship. It's supposed to be a sister ship to the Disney Wish. I love the Wish. I love it. I love a lot of the Disney ships. I think the Magic might be my second place. I love the Wish though. I can't wait to see the Treasure. It's supposed to start sailing summer 2024. So we've already been having conversations in my family whereby if it doesn't work in the kids' schedule, I don't care. I'm going without them. I'm getting on this ship. It's not about them anymore. No. A lot of our trips are about, family and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like I have to see that new ship. I'm really excited. But who knows what the itineraries are going to be, what the schedule is going to look like. There's so much that's up in the air right now. I would really love it if the Treasure went to Lighthouse Point, but I think that Disney's smarter than that. And they want me to be on 2 cruises because I will book the Treasure and then book one that gets me to Lighthouse Point in quick succession. And that's how
because of course the schedule for all the other ships is out through
September, end of September 2024. Yep.
Yeah. So definitely if you're thinking about it for next year, now is the time because like Jen said, you do get lower rates than as we get closer, you get the pick of staterooms more so than as you get closer. Like there's just so many benefits, but we are waiting to see where the treasure is going to be out of, where it's going to go, like what it all looks like. We're starting to get little hints. So you know that means we are getting closer. And I'm excited too. But yeah, I think they're gonna, excuse me, like you said, I think they're gonna get us on a different itinerary that doesn't go to Lighthouse Point also. So
I know.
planning my
With
first one.
cruises, I mean, with Disney cruises and with Disney trips, Facebook reminds me all the time because I, post things on Facebook. I book aspirationally. Like if I see something that I just feel like I really want and I don't know if I can make it happen, I know what's refundable and what's not refundable. And I mean, in many cases, what I'm booking, in every case, what I'm booking is refundable. I can let you know. We can always let you know if, what you're looking at is refundable, because you might as well deposit if you think you want it. Because if things change, as long as you cancel within the cancellation period and the vast majority of the circumstances of what we book, you get, everything refunded. But, with Disney Cruise Line, when you watch prices inch up and inch up and inch up, or you're looking at that stateroom and, now all of a sudden it's only the far forward and the far aft staterooms that are cheaper, not the one that was like one stateroom over from midship. There are just certain things, certain games you can play with that stuff. You might as well just lock it in, because then you have it. And if something happens and you can't take the trip, fine. You know what your deadlines are. We can help you remember what your deadlines are. If you have to cancel, you have to cancel. But you miss out. I hate when I get someone who says, "Oh, I should have done that," or that discount was really good and I really wanted it, and I'm like, "Well, it was gone. It was there yesterday." But well, and I think a 3-day hold, think about it.
That's the best thing. And then I think especially with the cruise, like for the resorts, we can be kind of watching those tend to drop off here and there. You're gonna have a greater chance of that happening than, oh, that stateroom became open. I mean, it's just the way it is. So again, we can tell you all that, but that's why Disney, I mean, Universal too, but Disney especially, there's some great ways that you can lock that in. We know we are busy moms. We know life is crazy. It's not our own. So things can change. You can adjust. But if you're really thinking about that, again, the further out you can plan, the better. It's just the way it is. There are those last minute options too, but especially with Disney Cruise Line, to have more choices. And if you're like a novice to cruising, which a lot of our clients are when we start working with them, it can really help guide you through that too. There's a lot to know.
Well, and even with Disney in general. So Disney Cruise Line, yes, if you're looking at 2024, get on that. Aulani, if you're looking for fall, winter, we can book into 2024, get on it. Disney World and Disneyland, can't even look at them yet. It's not out, not available, that you don't need to with either of those locations. And so that's something where Disneyland Paris, we can book until end of March 2024. So, I mean, every destination's a little bit different. I know that I feel like I'm talking to families who are really looking at 2024 and they're ready to go for Disney World. And I'm like, June, we'll talk again in June. I mean, here are some things that you can look at. So summer, you're not too late at all. But
I was going to say, that's the thing. Maybe you're thinking, oh, we want to wait and go in August of 24 just because of pricing or things like that. Again, we can there's nothing. We can price things out for you. You might be very surprised and say, oh, wow, we can go this summer. We didn't think that was possible.
This works. And you just never know what the next year will bring. Darn high school. If you've got kids who are going into high school, do it now. Do not wait until they are in sports and activities and taking all these extra classes and like.
It's true. That's why I don't have any summer Disney plans yet. That's
what?
I said that's why I don't have any summer Disney or Universal.
Well, your kids have a ton going on.
Yeah. We used to joke that we could only go on vacation 2 weeks out of the year, and one was Christmas because the kids didn't, like that week. And at that point in our lives, we didn't really want to travel. They still don't, but I want to see my kids, so like I have to go to them. And then there was this 1 week in June that was like after dance recitals, before my son's sports that he did in high school, only started, camps and all that. And it was like, that was the week. So every year in June, like our memories are popping up because that's what we did
Yeah.
for 6 years. You know, that was the week the kids knew, like that's the week we're going on vacation. So life is way too short, you know, being the one who have older kids, and still, you know, one at home and a grandbaby who's about to turn 1 next year as we are planning his first trip for Papa's 50th birthday in December. Life is too short. Take the trip, make the memories, like, because all of a
Yeah,
sudden they're
kids don't
grown.
keep, and they're adorable at every age.
Yeah.
There are things to be excited about at every age, but
Yeah.
I really miss the flexibility. And, you know, some school districts are great about, you know, you can pull the kids out. There's a lot that they can learn. Some aren't. So, you know, work with your school district. We always had a lot of support, and that meant that we could travel at less expensive times. So we were able to do a lot during and get some amazing deals when the kids are little. And that's just not going to happen, you know, when we go to Alani the week between Christmas and New Year's next year. Like, that's just take my money because we're going to go. But yeah, here's your college savings, kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a lot tonight.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yes, as usual.
I know we digress, but thanks so much for joining us tonight. I hope that some of this sparked a little bit of inspiration, or, you know, you learned something new tonight. I always learn something new when I chat with these ladies, which is just not often enough. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel. So if you are here right now, again, if you could subscribe, hit the thumbs up, like button. If you have any comments, questions, you name it, feel free. I do monitor all of that all of the time. Try to post new videos as much as I possibly can. I know Christy's looking for new content to post about the ships, and I've got a whole series of videos that are still coming from Disneyland Paris through really the end of May, and then new stuff from Disney World. Again, you know, if you want to join in the chat and the fun and the excitement, come on over to the Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Facebook group. We've got a page, but we also have a group. So if you're not in the group, come on in. You do have to request to be part of it because it is a private group, but, you know, we have lots of great conversation there. It's a wonderful place to ask questions and to share your excitement. We always like to see your parties and what your travel and what you're excited about, and your Etsy finds, and, you know, fun creations too. So please always share that then. But thank you so much for participating, for watching tonight, and, you know, after tonight as well. And again, it costs nothing to subscribe. Please send your friends. And until next time, enjoy.